Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today it's week 44 over on the Mission Inspiration Facebook group, and the prompt this week, the oracle prompt for this week is heart. So acknowledge the wellspring of compassion, courage and truth within. Like a steady pulse, the heart guides with intuition and love. Navigate life with openness, allowing your heart to lead you toward meaningful connections and genuine joy. And celebrate its wisdom, for in every heartbeat lies the power to heal, the power to heal, connect and bring purpose to your journey. So I think in the next few weeks, particularly in some countries, I think we all need to listen to that compassion and the truth within. So anyway, I'm going to be working on on this sheet of cardstock. I forgot what I was going to say then. I've also cut a piece of craft cardstock as well that I'm going to work on as my main kind of layer, and then I'm going to stick it down as I usually do into the journal afterwards. So I shall leave that where it is, and then put this one away. And then this morning, as I was thinking about quotes and that kind of stuff, I went through my collection of bits and pieces that I've got, and I found this really interesting quote, which I've printed off because this is definitely just leapt out at me at the moment as being perfectly kind of what I'm feeling at the moment as well. So the quote that I'm going to use is, "The heart remembers what the mind forgets." Now, for those of us that are dealing with parents or people in our lives that are suffering and going through the rigours of getting old and dementia and Alzheimer's and the rest of it, this phrase it particularly resonates for me at the moment. And I think it probably will do with quite a few other people as well, because obviously I appreciate I'm not alone going through this journey. Some of you have already gone through it. Some of you will go through it. Some of you, will be impacted by it a lot. But I wanted to create something today that kind of evokes that kind of fracturing of the heart and the mind while still retaining what it was. So while I was kind of waiting for my camera to charge up this morning, I started sketching on a piece of paper, and I kind of wanted to incorporate that heart shape. Originally, I was going to kind of create a sort of stencil effect with an anatomic kind of shaped heart, but by using a little bit of artistic license. So I started drawing and sketching what I thought I wanted this morning. And then when I actually finished kind of messing about with all these kind of tubes and God knows what else up here, I realised that actually I don't particularly want to do anything which has got too much kind of like anatomical stuff in it. And I've done it specifically so that it will fit onto the piece of cardstock that I've got here. I think I'm going to stick more to that kind of basic, not anatomical heart, which is why I've extended the heart shape down further. I kind of drew a curve in. And extend it further down this way. Because I've still got to maintain, I've still got to remember that it will have to fit on this piece of cardstock that I've got. But what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to cut this up just yet, because I may still turn this into a stencil and include this with some bits in it as a separate kind of mask. So you get the shape and then you get the ventricles and the aorta and all that kind of stuff going in. But the heart shape also has a separate piece, which is a bit more filigreed in pattern, if you like. So I'm not done with this sketch yet, so I don't particularly want to cut it up. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and flip this over. And what would really work or would help as if I had my light box with me. I have got my light box, but I've just recently put the cable away because I've started to pack for the house move. So it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to hold it up to the light a little bit. If I kind of just position the cardstock up towards the light, I can see the shadow of the cardstock, so I can position the line that I've drawn. If you can just see the outline of the line that I've drawn with that heart, because I've pressed a little bit harder on the paper, so the imprint of it has come through. And what I should theoretically be able to do is kind of line it up a little bit, just by doing a little bit of jiggery pokery, and then kind of just loosely, like I did originally, up in the air, just kind of sketch in the shape of that heart that I want. But of course, now that I've got that, I can now position it down further, pop it down, and then I can actually go through and press quite hard, and hopefully the graphite from the pencil on the other side will press onto the cardstock. I don't mind at this stage if it's a little bit sketchy, that's fine, because we can work with that. And transferring images is something we do quite a lot in one way or another, either by jelly or transfer with Mod Podge or whatever for art journals. So I'm not doing anything which is, you know, completely left field. So right, that's the shape that we've drawn, and I'm just just committing my pencil marks. I was always told that I'm not confident enough with my pencil marks. Show confidence. Loose but confident. Loose but confident. There we go. So I hope you can see that I've drawn on there now. That's perfect. And then what I want to do is I just want to bring in a curve, a swoop, just to bring it round. Because I want to introduce some kind of 3D element to this heart. Okay. All right, so what I want to try and do is I'm going to use some of my Posca pens, because why not? And I'm going to kind of create a sort of cubist kind of effect on the heart, just to show that kind of fragmentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and kind of break up some of these pieces and just kind of start to break it into smaller sections. Like so, and then kind of fragment it. Let's bring one down there as well. And then still keep that centre set kind of swoop there. Ugh, that eraser is absolutely awful. I do have another one somewhere. I'll I'll find it later on. Right, so next thing that I want to do then is I want to start introducing some colour into the background of these. So let's just start with my yellow. Now, I appreciate that I'm doing this on craft cardstock, so and the eventual aim with this is going to be that I come back in with my pencils after I've coloured in all the different fragments of the heart and add a little bit of kind of shading to each of these little fragments. I haven't put any gesso or anything down on the paper, so I've got to also be mindful of pilling, but I also will come in and and outline each of the sections too. So let's just bring some of that yellow into there as well. Okay, so I'm going to whiz off and start colouring in. I'll probably put in some music, and then I'll join with you again. Not at the end, because, you know, that's going to be pretty, well, no, actually, it's not going to be the full process, is it? I probably will join with you at the end. So let's, just for the moment, I'll go on to fast forward, and then I'll see you all again in a few minutes. So if anybody's interested in which ones I'm using, these are the PC3M, the 3Ms. I like the smaller nib because I think it's more, well, I can get more detail using the smaller ones. I know people like the big chunky chisel nibs and stuff. They're great if you're doing bigger projects, maybe drawing directly onto canvas and stuff, but for me, doing art journaling, the 3Ms I find are right for me. This is a lovely colour. Turquoisey kind of tealy colour. Let's see this one becoming a favourite. So these pens were a birthday gift from Ian earlier in the year. So I don't know where he got them from or how much he paid for them, and I'm not really bothered, to be honest. But you know, Posca pens are ubiquitous, I suppose the word is. They're everywhere. Amazon, you know, I'm sure they're easy to get hold of wherever you are. Even my local supermarket sells them. So yeah, I know there are other brands out there as well. Just recently I noticed there was another brand from a company based in California, but I can't remember what the name was, and apparently they were supposed to be very good as well. Most pens like this, including Copics and other alcohol markers and other paint pens, you've got the colour on the nib and you've got the colour on the lid, but 9 times out of 10 they're not accurate. You just use it as a guide, and I think they're all kind of pretty much the same. You'll never get the exact same colour because it all depends really on where you're painting them onto, or what you're painting them onto, as to what your final kind of colour ends up being. All right, so those are the colours we've used. I'm just going to give this a few minutes to kind of finish drying off. I don't want to get the heat gun on it. It shouldn't take long. It shouldn't take long. And then I'm going to make sure I get it in focus. And then I'm going to come back in and try and outline using a black. Make sure it's all clean and ready to go. All right, I shall see you again in just a few minutes. Well, seconds for you, minutes for me. Okay, so we've had a minute or two. So what that enables me to do now is to come back in and just compartmentalize each of these little fragments. Let's carry on that one up there. Beauty of this kind of thing is that you don't have to be perfect with your lines. As we've said many times before, it don't have to be perfect. Kind of like the noise it makes as well, to be honest. And it's a good idea just to stop every now and again and just rejuice your nib, just to get that paint flowing again. I do kind of enjoy this cubist style. I've done, over the years, quite a few projects There was one a few years ago where I did a Picasso-esque cubist style self-portrait as part of a collaboration. Okay. Right, I'm going to let that dry for a second or two, and then I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so while I was waiting for that to dry, I went into the background with a pencil, and I've just broken that up. But instead of using kind of triangular shapes, I've tried to stick more into verticals and horizontals, apart from when I've come down here to the bottom where I've continued some of those lines just to kind of break it up a little bit. So what I want to try and do for this one is I'm going to try and use some different colours in the background, ones I haven't used already. And I'm going to go a little bit, well, whatever's left. I'm going to kind of go in and just choose a couple of colours just to kind of differentiate from the background. So this is probably going to take a little bit longer. These sections are a little bit bigger. So because you've already seen me kind of colouring in, it literally is just watching paint dry, I will either, depending on how long the video is going to end up in the edit, either just jump to the end where I've coloured in each of these squares, or I'll just whip and fast forward. But like I said, it depends on what the edit's going to be like in the end. I'm just going to jump back in there. So I've just gone through with that yellow. So looking at it, I want to just finish off these last few pieces, but I'm going to have to use some colours that I've already used. So I'm going to use green. I know that's almost touching, but not quite. But it's mostly out of necessity, really. So, I know I said I wanted to, but I've run out of colours. I guess I need to increase my collection a little bit. But what I will do with this one is I'll probably go over the top of it with a pencil, which have been out all this time. Reduce the tip. Yeah, I'll probably go over it with a pencil and make it much darker, I think. So nearly there, and then once we've done this, all we have to do is just go back over again with that black pen. So let me carry on colouring in. I don't know why, while I've been doing this, I've been thinking about Van Gogh. I know he's impressionistic, is an impressionist, not a cubist. It's funny, isn't it, how you think about different things. I was just thinking to myself, I wonder how some of the great artists of history, like Van Gogh and Da Vinci and Rubens and Turner and Constable and all that, how they would have reacted to acrylic markers. How would Da Vinci have reacted? What would he said about acrylic paint markers? Would he have been horrified? Would he have been fascinated or obsessed with them? Had they known what they were? All right, that's the background done. Like I said, just give it a minute or two, then we'll come back in with the black. So I've just been joined in my art room by two visitors. Hello. Hello, you two. Both of them have been fast asleep. And I've just woke up. Strange how they both wake up together at the same time, isn't it? They're both in different rooms. Bentley was downstairs in the living room. And Mr. Nippy was asleep on one of the beds. Yeah. Hello. Yes. I know, monkey. Yes. That's a good boy. Yes, he is. Ah, it's cuddle time. It is. Right, I suppose I'd better go and have a quick play and a cuddle, and then I'll be right back. All right, so doggy play over with. They only he's waggling his ears on the landing. They only ever want to play for a few short minutes, and then they get, I won't say bored, but tired maybe, and then they go back to bed. 'Tis the nature of whippets. Hello, Mr. Bentley. So they've just been out for a quick wee. Both had a treat each for being good boys. One of them's just come in and thrown himself behind me. Which one is it? Oh, it's Bentley. Which means Mr. Nip's gone back to bed. Okay, so there we go. That's all partitioned off nicely. Now I did go over the line somewhere when I was doing the yellow, but I think I've covered that up. Cool, right, quickly get this dried off, and then it's time to come in with a little bit of shadow and shade. Okay, so what I've decided to do is only go into the background to create the shadows. So I'm conscious for the first time in a long time. I'm conscious for the first time in a long time. I'm conscious of time at the moment. I normally like to get these done and ready for about 12:15 on a Saturday morning, and it's currently 11:35ish. So I'm running out of time in which to get the video or the photos, or the finished photos, done in time. So I suppose I could go later. I don't suppose anybody would mind if it was 12:30 rather than 12:15 when it was ready, or even 1 o'clock for that matter. I suppose as long as it was ready before the video goes live. So the darker colours probably could do with maybe even darker again. What's that? Blackberry. Ew. It's like a purpley colour. It's funny, sometimes when you use these pencils, you can't actually see what colour they are. Look. Excuse the coughing. Dark blue down there. These are Derwent Coloursoft pencils. Oh, indigo. Lovely. Which I don't really use. I'm not really a colouring in pencil kind of person. But you know. Bring in other colours and then you start to kind of like blend out. They kind of tend to burnish each other. It's almost like stained glass effect. Darken them all up a bit. I suppose rather than cubism, I suppose, yeah, more of a stained glass effect. If I wanted a bit more of a softer effect, I could always come back in again in a little while with maybe some charcoal and a blending stub. See what kind of effects that gives me. At the moment I'm quite happy just to kind of get this shading down. Just kind of around the edges. It's almost like a dirty stained glass, isn't it? Oh, lovely. Get my finger in there in a minute. What was that indigo one? Cool. Now I do have some blending stubs, but not paper blending stubs. These are foam blending stubs, and I don't actually think they work all that well. Was that Mr. Ian sending me messages? Yeah, he's away this weekend. He's doing a Halloween thing over in Lincoln, and he's just sent me a message saying it's busy but nobody's spending. So I shall just respond. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to get more joy out of the charcoal. Oh, pencil sharpener's missing. It's not good. Normally, I keep a pencil sharpener in all of my collections. And pencil sharpeners are so cheap, you can do that. Normally, I've got loads of them kicking about. God, this one doesn't even fit. You'd have thought, wouldn't you? A pencil sharpener would be the normal, would be a standard size. That's an option. I could use my Stabilo all pencil and come back in with a bit of water. No, charcoal's just not the right thing, I don't think. So again, Derwent charcoal pencils. Perhaps we need a black. There we go, black. Just to kind of like go in a little bit dark around those edges. I'm not pressing very hard either. Some of the pencils are stronger than the others. I've also got to remember that I am going on to acrylic paint. Afterwards. Suppose if I'd kept my bottle of minerals, I'd been able to blend those out a lot better. But I think I'm going to stop there. I think that's probably going to be it for now. Anyway, I can always come back to this page at a later date if I think that there's something that's missing. But at the moment, I just want to get these two, the quote lines stuck on. So let's just grab a little bit of glue. Got some rust on the pin, which sometimes happens. I'm going to put that at the top. And that one towards the bottom. We'll just break in across there. And then let's find my original sheet. Flip that over, get some stronger glue, he says. Let's see if we can find it. Not much left of this now. I need to try and get some more. This is Grab and Go from Indigo Blue, which is a thick kind of PVA. Great for kind of like collage and that kind of stuff, but it's better suited to like sticking pieces of wood together, to be honest. Or heavy duty. I'm sure we'll get it the right way up. They call it Grab and Go because that's exactly what you can do with it. Literally, you just stick it down and it grabs in a few seconds. And it's fairly strong. Okay, so what I want to do is just introduce some black borders around those word blocks. I'll just grab my pen, which is at the other side of the room, and then just very carefully just kind of to make those pop and integrate them into the page. So over the years, I've used loads and loads and loads of different pens for writing on art journal pages, writing over acrylic and that kind of stuff. The Fude ball pens were huge at one point. Everybody used those, and then all of a sudden other companies started producing pens that did the same thing, and now almost every pen will write on acrylic paint and that kind of thing. These Uniball Ocean pens are absolutely fantastic. Uniball Ocean Care It says 75% recycled plastics and 10 of that is from ocean waste, which is perfect because we're all doing our bit, even even small areas. Okay, so I think I'm going to call that a day for today. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page today. I know it's taken a while, lots of repetitive stuff, but that's sometimes the way when you're creating art journal pages sometimes. So if you have enjoyed watching me create this, please remember to give the video a thumbs up because it really does help me and the channel get noticed by the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget you can share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And if you want to join us over in the Mission Inspiration Facebook group, that's the URL on the screen there. There will be a clickable link, a clink below the video. If you just want to click that, pop across and ask to join. There's nearly 5,000 people in the group now, contributing, supporting, sharing on a regular basis. So why not pop across and join us over there? So that's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.